before we get to the more serious stories, we've got to kind of take a few minutes to say our final words for the World Cup, Men's World Cup FIFA, where Spain beat
Good.
Argentina.
Congratulations to Spain. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a big build-up. If I recall, Jimmy, I heard a number, something on the magnitude of about $9 billion during this tournament. Uh,
Damn.
in terms of revenue, soccer is not the big to-do in the United States, but it is a global sport, the number one global sport. So you had people coming from all over the world to the United
Yes.
States. And so they had the final this past Sunday in New Jersey. You had Argentina, who was the uh, World Cup champion from 4 years ago, and Spain, two arguably of the best players in the sport right now. Messi, and I cannot remember how to pronounce his first name, but Messi, considered the GOAT of soccer, even though I still consider Pele to be the GOAT of all time. Messi is considered to be the GOAT by many people. And then you have another young man.
Tom Pele is the goat of all time. Is the goat.
Yes,
Messi is probably one of the best that's in the business today.
yes, I would agree with that. And then they've got a young player out of Spain who, well, he's not from Spain. He actually is from North Africa, but he plays
He's from
for.
Africa, yes. About 19 years old, up and rising star, who's really good. Really, I thought the French were going to win this, but then when Argentina beat England, I was thinking, well, maybe Argentina's going to pull this out. I didn't know Spain defense was that good, but hey, guess when it's a 1-0 score? There's not. I think you told me it was 1-0.
It was one.
There's a lot of defense going back and forth.
Oh yeah, and the reality of it is Spain, and I'm not a big soccer fan. There's some folks out there who could probably speak more intelligently than that. But throughout this whole tournament, if we look at who Spain went through, you have Austria, Portugal, Belgium, France, and then Argentina in the finals. Jimmy, only one team even scored a goal against Spain in the entire tournament, and that was Belgium. Only one team scored a goal the entire tournament against Spain.
That's some defense for you,
Yeah. So
man.
that's I mean one goal against Spain the entire tournament, and they literally shut down Argentina, who went through Cape Verde, Egypt, Switzerland, and England.
Well, I watched him play England, Tom, and whenever Matthew had the ball, he commands a lot of attention.
Yes.
The entire other team is looking at him, keeping their eyes on him to see what he's doing, especially when he's dribbling the ball. In fact, both of their scores came from him passing the ball to other players who then scored because everyone focused on him. So that's why I thought maybe Argentina had a good chance to win this. I didn't realize how relenting and tough this defense was for Spain. If I had known they'd only one score had been scored against them this whole tournament, I may have had to rethink this. But congratulations to Spain for doing a great job and winning the World Cup.
I was again. I didn't really have a major dog in this hunt. Personally, I was pulling for Spain and the young gun who was coming out, and it was. I didn't watch the entire game because I just have a hard time staying that focused on a sport that scores so many points in a game. I just have a hard time staying focused. So I started tuning in. Maybe the last part of the second half of it, and it was pretty interesting. And they finally got the score that was good, and they were kind of going back and forth down the goal, Jimmy. And I'm still trying to learn soccer, not knowing that I ever will. And I guess they have been trying to make soccer a bigger sport, a more profitable sport in the United States for decades, and it's never.
Tom, I gave him the secret to do that, and nobody's listening to me. Make the goal much smaller and get rid of the goalkeeper.
But how do
And
they
he,
do it in international? I mean, you have international rules, Jimmy.
I know they got to change the rules across the board. Get a 4x4 goal instead of the 20-foot goal. Make it 4 feet wide and maybe 4 or 5 feet high, and get rid of the goalkeeper. And then make every shot. When you have a perimeter where you have to shoot from beyond this radius, so no close in goals anymore. That would be a slam dunk for basketball, and you would get more scoring. You may get scores in the 30s or 40s at that point. So rather than 1-0.
Gotcha. I certainly understand that, but I have a, and a lot of kids when they're younger, they play soccer, but as they get older in the junior high and high school, they gravitate towards, basketball, baseball, football, and quite frankly, I mean, my opinion means absolutely nothing in soccer because I never played it. Quite frankly, the best players in the United States don't play soccer, and that's part of the reason
Right.
they don't play
Yeah,
soccer.
they're football, basketball, baseball, one of the big three. But Tom, we can't overlook the fact that the African nations came up this year and represented. So, I mean, this has always kind of been a European and South American sport. And the Americans and the Africans just hadn't been major contributors to it. But yeah, I was surprised at the number of African nations that were in the World Cup that qualified for the World Cup, and a lot of these European teams have African players on them. So
That part, Jimmy,
yeah,
because in my opinion, when I look at the semifinalists, and the finals, it was crystal clear that they got to get the brothers on their team to be competitive to get the championship. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why Major League Baseball, even though it's considered to be a major sport, it ain't even close to basketball and football anymore.
true.
I mean,
Yeah,
back
that's
back when
true.
you were coming up, Jimmy, when there were more brothers in Major League Baseball, it was more of America's pastime. But no, Jimmy,
Well,
it
that's
ain't.
true.
So
That's true, Tom.
maybe soccer needs to start going out to Carter soccer high school to start getting some brothers involved. Otherwise, it ain't gonna ever stick in the United States. It's never gonna make the type of money.
Well, tell them that they probably need to build some more baseball fields in the more populated areas of the city to get kids and go to the boys' clubs, go to the schools, sponsor some and provide equipment. Equipment makers can donate equipment to help bring more kids into the sport. But you're right though. I think its place as American pastime is kind of slipping away. The football and basketball are becoming more popular sports than baseball.
And unfortunately, Jimmy, let's call a spade a spade. Some of these sports, they don't want no folk who look chocolatey or have melanin in their skin, and they want to keep those sports the way that they are. I mean, let's be very clear. How many folks were okay when you consider who is the greatest player, arguably, in the sport of golf? Maybe not in terms of the number of championship, but in terms of viewership. It was Tiger.
He was like
It was Tiger.
he elevated golf by himself to a whole new level. A lot of
Exactly.
people started watching golf who were not interested in golf before he came along.
And the Williams sisters and what they did for women's tennis.
Tennis, yes. And you see the huge drop off now that both of them have been retired. I think one of them played in Wimbledon in a doubles match, but for the
Right.
most part, I mean, they're pretty much retired out of the game. But
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, they did a whole lot for women tennis. They helped put it on them. Not to say that other women didn't come along who helped sustain the sport, but they really got it over the edge as far as popularity.
And why was it? Why did it have to be Venus who fought and won pay equity for women for women's tennis? It wasn't all these decades, all these years. It had to be Venus Williams to fight for pay equity for women in tennis.
Well, and now Coco is fighting the same fight. I don't know if you heard, but
Uh,
one of her matches where she won over in Europe, and she was expecting a $1 million paycheck, and when the check came, it was about $600,000. And the event sponsors said that in her contract they had a right to adjust the payout based on revenue if they had to. So, but she said quite frequently it's happened to women more than happened to men. So she's kind of taking up that battle, fighting to make sure that women get their fair share in a sport. But right, you don't hear any other, you don't hear non-black women in that sport fighting for equal pay.
but they always benefit.